podcast.
Bring your friends.
The one case that I thought was really good because you couldn't talk about it, bro.
Yeah, I wrote a joke.
Exactly.
I wrote a. Do you want me to talk about it?
Yeah.
Okay. So, what part of it do you want, or do you want to know the whole thing?
Just go tell a story.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just
So,
the whole thing.
so what ended up happening was somehow an AUSA got a hold of my information, and it was through like an interpreter that I had mentored or something. Like because I'm part of like a bunch of like interpreting things, right?
Yeah.
And that interpreter was part of a company that they did virtual interpreting. And they were like, hey, we don't have anyone that has a TSI. Can you sign? Like, it was like really fast. They were like, can you sign this? We need this now, or we're going to lose this contract. And I was like, yeah, what is it? And they like said, hey, it's about this and this and this. And then I had to talk to the attorney because the attorney was like, oh, like it was like crazy the amount of like shit that I had to sign and things that I had to talk with them about. Like, hey, you can't talk about this for now. What ended up happening was they had a Sicario. A Sicario is basically like an assassin. It's the best way that I can. It's a hitman, right?
Hitman. Yeah.
Assassins are cooler. It's a hitman, and he was on a hospital bed, and it was like he looked like fuck. You ever seen those pictures of dudes in concentration camps?
So it looked like a raisin. He was all dried up.
Dude, yeah, it was just bad. And he would move like this, and he had a burn mark that you could clearly see like on his neck. And I was like, okay, cool, no problem. And turns out he had some information about some gangs and some other stuff that I don't want to mention because I don't want them problems.
Yeah.
But he knew some stuff about some people, and he had documents. He had like a stack of documents, and I'm just interpreting this, and I'm there for like an hour. Coincidentally, that same night, I had a friend of ours that was in
Costa Rica.
In Costa Rica.
Yep.
And he was texting me that he was gonna go get a tattoo.
Yep.
While I'm interpreting for this person, because I would like, and then I text back without looking. And then I would look, there'd be a pause, that nobody would talk because they're taking notes. And I could like look at my phone real quick. And we head out, and like obviously I'm in this little wheel thing, right? And the guy's like, this was really good. This was amazing. It's like, I think we got everything we need. And I just like, it's like 11 o'clock at night, dude. I was so tired. And then Ray's paying me per hour too. And they were like, this is really good. What do you think, Mr. Interpreter? I go, the interpreter doesn't really have anything to say. The interpreter remains neutral. He goes, come on, man. He's like, I saw your background check. You were military and this and that. And I was like,
I am the interpreter.
I go, I'm the interpreter. He goes, and I was like, dude, you understand this is recorded, right? He goes, I'm well aware it's recorded. And I'm like, I mean, a good investigator should probably ask how he got here. And they all like looked at me like, oh, motherfucker. So they just walk in again. And I'm like, and you're like, hey, how did you make it? And he had his possessions.
They asked him about the scar too, didn't
they? No. So they asked him how he got here, and he had his belongings. He's in the hospital. Yeah. He had his belongings like next to him, and I could see it. And it was just like clothes, like these leathery looking bags, and then like a bunch of documents, like a shit ton of documents. And he goes, "Oh, that's easy," and I'm telling you. He says, "Well, they tried to kill me." And he goes, how did they try to kill you? Well, they grabbed the wire and they put fire on it and they had me cuffed. But it was just one guy because he caught me off guard and blah, blah, blah. And he got behind me and he like had these, this not wire. It was like a
rope.
No, not a rope. It was like a metal bar, like a little bit of metal, like what you would use to.
Like a hanger.
Yeah, like a hanger, right? Sort of like a hanger, right? Like a metal hanger.
Yeah.
And he like lit it on like he heated it somehow because he could tell, because he could feel like it was burning through him. And so he got his hands free and he grabbed it, and you look at his fingers and he had burn marks because he like broke the hanger, and then he got out and then he killed that dude. And then he took some of the dude's money and stuff. And then he says, I had a stash with like, I think like an eighth of Coke. And what I did was I started running towards the border with the documents in the 2 bags. And whenever I would get tired, I just do a bump. And they like immediately like start fucking, oh, we need this. And they start bringing in for residue or whatever. I imagine they found it because you could tell there was a lot of shit on it, but who knows? And they're like, oh, and I just ran and here I am. And they were like, you weighed in like, what was your normal weight? And I always exaggerate when I used to tell this joke. I'd be like, he lost like 150 pounds. He lost like 80 pounds. He lost like 80 pounds in the
Yeah, but it
span
only
of
took him 3 days.
It took 3 days.
3
He
days,
didn't
80
sleep
pounds.
either. So he
Yeah.
looked really, really, really bad. But that was like what happened. And then that night, my friend got 2 tattoos thanks to me. While I was doing also that, my friend got his tattoos and whatnot, and they were pretty good. But then he came back and he's like, "You're a piece of shit. I can't believe you let me get tattoos while I was drunk." And I said, "You're a paying customer."